All right, welcome to the program. My name is Dr. Manko Tab. You are watching the TPN TV and Radio Network. Well, today we'll get some very quick and very generic discussions where we get for can discuss. We all know say the the festivity don't come, and when I say festivity, I'm talking about Christmas holidays. Um, December now a month of festivities around the world, especially for Christians. And Sierra Leone, we know say Sierra Leone na a country where we will not get any kind of specific discrimination when it comes to religion. We are religiously tolerant, and the time we will be grow up now Sierra Leone. Of course, I was born in Sierra Leone. I was born and bred in Sierra Leone. So the time we will be grow up now Sierra Leone. Um, Christmas now a time where a lot of enjoyment they happen. They get societies them, then cultural societies them. Some then they pull OJ, some then they pull paddle, some then they pull other cultural activities. A lot. And most times it happen not only in the cities, it also happen in the villages. And the time when I will tell you now, the time we born as alone during the 80s, in as much as we believe saying things were very difficult at the time, but we dey always take with time for enjoy because life is too short. Mm, I don't know what thing they go on now in Sierra Leone because now the government they ban a lot of festivities, especially in our Freetown and in big cities like Makenibo, Kenema, Maboka, Potloko, Freetown. So this year, once again, the governments ban most of the festivities them. And why them ban them festivities then they? Well, then get their own reasons. But before we go to the reasons, them let me just see if I go able for bringing the notice. Can I? Can I bring it? Let me see here if I able bring that. Okay, I think it's this. All right. So I don't know if now they see but this now the notice where the government this thing not the Zoom self. That's supposed to Zoom. All right, never mind. But then put certain conditions where let me see here if I go able to read Anaya na my phone. Okay. Let me pull Anaya. Let me just pull it from the screen. All right, I will read on my phone some of the banning. Then say no loud music or noise after 10 p.m. No secret procession or carnivals without a written permission from the Inspector General, Inspector General of Police. No firing of guns, rockets, or throwing of fireworks. Then say fireworks are prohibited throughout Sierra Leone. Okay. Then say no driving under the influence of alcohol. We will discuss most of these things. Then say no driving of unregistered vehicle with G plates or temporary vehicle registration (TVR) should not ply the road. Then say use of vehicles only for their registered purpose. Okada operations are prohibited in central business district of Freetown. Masked devils and masquerades require written police clearance. Religious bodies and organizations require written permission for street procession. The Sierra Leone police will enforce these regulations and ensures compliance. Parking spaces will be designated at the Lumley Aberdeen beaches for beach goers. Towing vehicles will be deployed to ensure strict compliance. The Inspector General and Sierra Leone Police wish you a Merry Christmas and a bright, prosperous New Year. These are some of the the conditions then where the police had them put. So the time when we been grow up, some of the festivities they mean free, they mean sweets. People enjoy. People go out there and enjoy from morning 10 till the next. But now things have changed, and I not just know why some of the restrictions happens. Mr. Cabo, if you join, I did see say they join, but it go on and off. I don't know what's going on with your internet connection, but it looks like it go in and off. All right. I know they even see you now the backstage pass now the link now the notice way coming. Mr. Cabo,
Yes, please.
happy Christmas in advance.
Thank you, Dr. Mangots. The same to you.
Mr. Cabo, you not Christian?
I'm a Muslim.
A Muslim, oh yeah. Okay. Well, me na
Yeah.
me na Christmas.
But that's okay. My younger brother, we have two boys, he's a Christian.
Well,
My cousin's nephews are Christian.
well, that's not the beauty of Sierra Leone. That make
Right.
I don't think they will get a problem when it comes to religion at all, or
I-
religious fanaticism. We
In
don't.
fact, I know about the Christian religion more than the Christian Bible, more than the Muslim Bible, because I can read the Christian Bible.
Yeah.
And in those days we go to these missionary schools. That's
Mm.
where we went.
Me na
All right.
me na RC school. I go school, and
Yeah.
half of me family na Christians and half na Muslims. So you see how the mix.
Well, yeah, I went to missionary school throughout my education in Sierra Leone, and I even went on Sunday schools in those days. And my mother was a Muslim and a Christian, and then later a Muslim.
Well, would they call them Christmas?
But those are years. Those days I'm telling you when probably I was very very young. I was even told that my mother was a Christian. I mean, based on the marriage, the husband he married to,
Okay.
and the husband's mother was a Christian, but the husband also was a Christian. Later turned out to be a Muslim. So they all became Muslims.
So
But originally from back home, from the motherland, the fatherland, we are Muslims.
yeah. So yeah, I know say we dey talk about festivity, but mostly about some of them we dem call ya. But why we not able to hold we religious originality in Africa?
Meaning what? What do you mean?
Well,
Explain.
before the Western Christianity came to Africa or Islam came to Africa, we have what we call generally accepted African religions. We based
Okay.
on community level, and the concept is similar with these modern religions, but it's slightly different to the fact that we are actually being the value ancestral. For example, we believe, say, when your grandpa or your grandma or your relative die, now that relationship, that natural relationship never cut. Now that make we get with people them, what them in they do, like some of who been small people that then they beat this cake, this white cake, then put then say, well, this now for the mama, then believe all them thing, then they in terms of um medical things, the we get what we call the spiritual people where neither you know like doctors they will get it the way they somebody sick before ever then they know which type of medicine way they cure you because they believe in herbs, these leaves. Then they go first, then they go consult their ancestral somewhere in the bush, and the ancestral will able for redirect them whose leaf we actually were able for cure this disease, and it used to work. But when these modern religions then come like Christianity, then say all these things are idolatry, and so therefore we no need for follow them, then take we off from them in the day, and then introduce a religion where na a repackage of the African religion itself, but slightly then repackage on their own image, on their own objectives, and then sell them away. That's not the question why they try for ask. Why did we just abandon the we own religions? We actually not the authentic religion nowadays.
Well, Dr. Mankota, this is a very great question, and it requires a whole lot of research work and maybe very strong people, to talk about it. But what I know for sure is there's advancement in the world because before we have Prophet Adam, and he had a different way during his time how he brought in the word of God to everybody. I just don't know if he was black. That I don't know. But we've made to understand this our father.
Scientifically,
Mhm.
or how you call them, the one the way do I forget way they try for find uh, I forget the name, but scientifically we know say the first man we would they call Adam was black, because even in the Bible it's actually signify that.
All right. But unfortunately, you can only read it in the Bible or read it in the Quran.
Mhm.
There's no way you can read it in an African language. I never see that book there that tell us about Adam. So basically, I don't know, and
Well,
and
well,
what the Bible wrote about him and what the Quran wrote about him is what we are following. We don't know anything about. You can prove me wrong if you have any great grandfather who has told you about Adam and Eve.
yeah, we do
I mean, or
we
wrote
do
it. So we don't know.
we do
Okay.
Bimandama Mahawa in terms of
Right,
okay,
exactly. But those
but
words are translated in our local language from the Quran or the Bible.
no,
Bema dama,
not
bema.
necessarily. Actually, the other way. I study. I do comparative religion. Okay, I study African religion. I think the other way
Okay.
around. Actually, the Bible take those names and put them in their own book. The problem we will get Africa. One of the biggest problems where Africa gets when it comes to historical perspective is that we know they write with story. We know they put her into pen and paper, because we believe in this oral translation. Even the Bible, even the Bible, you go be surprised for no saying. Um, uh, Moses Moses not only write the five books where they attribute to him. They're not being put them into pen and paper. They do like traditional oral history where the Jews of today, then they teach them Pekin, then Pekin where then grow up, then born Pekin, then they teach them Pekin. In fact, if you look at um, the recent discovery of the Old Testament where they then discover na Kum, na Egypt area, and you go find out say over 1,000+ years before the Old Testament was actually put into pen and paper. But a lot of people, they don't understand this. So that tradition, it makes sense because during the internet, they will not get people that will land Boku, not so. We don't get people that will land. So most of the history are passed through oral tradition from generation to generation to generation. Now, when people then begin forget this actual learning, and able for put some of them here into book and paper. But a lot of Christians are, I don't know much about because Islam came very, very late. Okay. Islam came in the 7th century. We are talking about thousands of years before the 7th century. So Islam is a modern religion where during the internet they already don't get people that way boku than learn. Christianity, we been get people that will learn, but it very, very limited. Now that make even the books then where they write now been small copy. Now that make a lot of errors. They now them books then they. If you read the Old Testament, one story, then you go to another chapter with the same story, you go begin find out some kind of discrepancies, either because of scribal errors, because we not been get printers them for say they print exactly the original, right? So how them in the distribute them books here? If I get a copy, let's say I get a copy of Matthew, what would they do? Somebody they go sit down, they go take their ink there because now ink been there. Then get ink from like then feather them. Now the feather them, then they use them put some kind of black charcoal or something like that. Now in the they then call it as ink. So then people then they for write a book or for copy a book, you get for put the book so you they copy them manually. So it's natural that as you they copy them pages here, you must make mistake. Now that get a lot of mistakes then from most of the chapters in the Bible because now human errors. Some of them are human errors. Some of them are deliberate, what they call it, interpolation. But let's come back, or maybe before we go back to the topic when the festivity, you get any answer to anything we want to add to this?
Yeah, Dr. Mankota, I only have concerns that unfortunately our great 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 grandparents, the African, the black people, never put this in writing.
Yeah.
And not only did they fail to put it in writing, because of the time factor, I mean, from generation to generation, even those who were imported those information translated by their great great grandfather, we don't have them, and they don't. And there was nobody who was able to put that religion or that belief or that kind of medical practitioner in a not. I mean, to be able to explain it to the people or for us to inherit it.
Mhm.
Now, the same thing with the Christian Bible. It's been translated from one person to the other and written, and even the original ones are no more there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I believe, and on my own in my own little way and research, I find out that the most prominent religion now in the world, which bears the most truth, probably the whole truth, is the Muslim religion. The reason is that the Quran has never been written. It came as it came, the original, and that's how it is preserved.
Yeah. Yeah.
And not only that, even all the Quranic books are
Burnt.
destroyed or burnt down. There are thousands and thousands of people who have memorized the Quran off-headed. So nobody can lie, can say or change something because it's been memorized.
Yeah.
There are thousands, if not millions, of people, Muslim people, who memorize the Quran from A to Z.
Yeah.
Unlike the Christian Bible, nobody, even the pastors, a lot of reverend pastors, they cannot even quote. I have seen Quranic conversations. You know, it's very actually. You will see, Dr. Mankota. I read a little of the Quran, very little, very little. I learned it in the village, and that's why Sierra Leoneans probably they are very smart in arguing about religion because they know both. Most
Yeah.
of us.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people who've been going to school, English school, and there are people who've been going to Quranic school. So they know these things, they can argue very well. But as far as I'm concerned now, at my own age and know and listening with my experience and my research, I think Quran is the most prominent religion now, Bible that we have to cling into because that's where we have the absolute truth. It has never been skewed in any way, and there are people who memorize it. They can read it, even if you want all the Qurans in the world. It doesn't happen in the Christian religion. It doesn't happen in our tradition and our traditional beliefs. You know, like they distorted from one end to the other. But let me tell you something with regards to medicinal issues, which you mentioned, like the herbs and other things. Kudos to the Caribbean. Africans, we are almost out. Mr. Mankota, if you go to Africa, I tell you, bring me Cuiava leaves. You like, what? What am I going to do? The Caribbeans, the rest of the Caribbeans, when they are coming, they bring those leaves. They know them, those herbs. Some people will send for their friends to bring them. If you send that in Africa, they say, are you crazy? You're in America. Why don't you use English medication?
Yeah.
But this is very good in the Caribbean. The Caribbean actually still believe in those herbal issue things. And when I look at them, I think they grow very old. They go up to 100, years in the Caribbean. A lot of people, and they are all, you know, but Africa in general, no, we don't honor
We are
that
we are
anymore.
we are losing our where we
Yeah.
already lost. We
So,
already don't lose. Um
yeah.
we
So one person will tell you this today, the other one will tell you that tomorrow. Look at the funerals in Africa. Even in Africa, the funerals we used to have when somebody passed away, we have
three days,
the day of the funeral, the 3 days,
the
the
7 days,
seventh day, the
the 40th
40th
day.
day, 4 months and 10 days. Now they take them all out. So I mean, but
Yeah.
again, before I go further, Dr. Mankota, I would like to express my condolences to the family of the late Mr. Almami Nabe. I
Yeah.
have not been online since he passed away, and we pray and we ask God His favor to be on him and have mercy on him, and then let him rest in peace.
I mean,
Um,
so let me so,
so
so let me
yes,
let me come to a very important thing where you bring in about
right.
the preservation of the Quran compared to other books. Them, first of all, to be honest with you, me now one of the people in Salon will learn both Arabic and English, the Bible. In
I
fact,
did a little too.
yeah, in fact, we people let them get some money because now my big brother was a diamond digger, so we get money. They dig gold and diamond and all those type of thing. Get money. That's
From
when.
Kono, from Kono, from Kono.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
and and
So
and the Kenema man, they line. So you have to be thankful to those people.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So so a higher and I'm a Boroka, when it
Mhm.
comes to Islamic centers, na salon, I'm a Boroka because na the Arabic college been there.
Right, I
Yeah.
love that.
So in fact, now we own house, they hire a special person we graduated from that college in Amaburuka for Kande na host to win. Now morning around 4 o'clock, we they grab every single morning. We they learn Arabic say by 5, 6. Then we go na Catholic school. We go learn also the Bible. Now that,
Exactly.
now that make I learn I learn the Quran. I don't know completely.
Really?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
But
I,
are you a Muslim or a Christian?
I'm a Muslim.
Oh, okay.
But
Good.
we family, we diverse, we get Muslims, we get Christian. I don't make
The
well,
same
I
thing.
was a Christian because when I've been going to Catholic school, I baptized. I don't care.
Yeah. I was not baptized, but I was going to Sunday school.
So I they
I
go
go to
Sunday,
church.
I they go
Yeah.
church, I they go Sunday school. So we don't care. We're not so
Right.
fanatic when it comes to religion. And I know say a lot of people that now Sierra Leone they get similar. stories when it comes to religion. And that make we are very tolerant. So
Correct.
to be honest with you, and now that make after I do my high school, my first college education, now comparative religion and political science. Now I do.
That's good.
Now, so in the Christian Bible, especially
Hmm.
um, the New Testament, they're not like what he talks about, they're not get the original because the actual uh, manuscript where they available, where the New Testament was written, was in Koine Greek, in Greek. And we're not saying Jesus Christ not been a speak Greek. Jesus Christ not just a peasants from the villages, most of his followers then are people that way they not get better education with the exception of few of them like Matthew, who have been tax collector or something like that. So they mean they speak in their own language where
They call
yeah,
Aramaic.
Aramaic, very similar with Arabic. Those are all Semitic languages. So now they mean they speak. When you look at the Bible, the composition of the Bible, and the time when the Bible was written, as the language where the Bible was written, because during the internet, the Koine Greek was some of the toughest literate languages in the world. So for somebody who is a peasant, somebody who doesn't know the language itself in that capacity for write such a story is very, very um, doubtful. So the people that will write the Bible, they were not actually eyewitness. And in fact, even the Christians scholars them actually confess for saying Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, they were not the Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that's or like the disciple of Jesus Christ, like John and Matthew, where they attribute. In fact, they attribute their names then
Those
they
are English names,
well,
and those
well
people
those
were
are
not
anonymous.
English people. Yeah.
The books themselves now be anonymous books them. They're not been getting any
Right.
attributions to their names then they now later on, I think probably the second century. Now, in one of the church fathers begin attribute the names then they to different people like Luke or something like that. This now a very known fact, but not to know more. Like what he talks to, the I don't see nobody where don't memorize the New Testament from cover to cover.
Even the Old Testament.
Well,
No,
forget
none,
about the Old Testament
none,
because
none of them.
yeah, none. You know, none of them. The Quran was written in its original language, when are the Arabic, and it stays in its original language. So
And that language was the prophet's language. That's what he was speaking,
yeah,
Arabic. So
now that make us say
exactly.
the
Yeah.
original. And the thing about the Quran, irrespective of what somebody tell you, you understand? Um, when you write a book in its original language, that book they preserve, the translation doesn't matter because when you
Right.
translate a language, somebody can make other different meaning, the other man make different meaning. But if you want to know the actual meaning, you get to go back to the original language for make you go understand. And
Exactly.
also, so that's not you
Exactly.
don't get that opportunity na the Bible. This is the biggest problems when it comes to the Bible with associated with Jesus Christ, because we not get any book in Aramaic, none. So that's not the thing. But
But the other thing we remember, even his disciples, when they claimed that he was crucified, they were not there.
yeah,
The
yeah,
disciples were not there.
yeah,
They
yeah,
were
yeah.
not there in the crucifixion.
Well,
They
well,
never witnessed it.
it then the Bible says so. So not to think like where you they try for
Yeah.
make up no more.
So they wrote about it. They wrote about it. So somebody told them.
Well,
Whether it is right or wrong, they don't know.
even Luke, when at the first person according to scholarly consensus, Luke was the first um person where
Disciple.
first right. Okay, Luke
Okay.
was not a disciple, not so. Luke was never I think Luke or Mark, was never a
Now look,
disciple.
they were disciples. Luke, Matthew, Mark, and John.
No,
I think they are all
no. Luke was not a disciple. The only people that
okay.
where they attribute now Matthew and John. Mark was not a disciple also. The two of them not a
Oh,
disciple. The two then carried the name of disciple like John and Matthew. Matthew was allegedly a disciple of Jesus Christ. But like you say, even in Matthew and Luke, when they arrested Jesus Christ, they all fled.
They ran away. They all fled away. They were
Yeah,
not there.
yeah.
So they can't tell you the story, what
So
happened.
they all fled away. But let's put that aside. Let's come back to the festivity. Why you think, say, the government supposed for restrict some of them festivities? Yeah.
Well, Dr. Mangota, as you know, time grows. We don't just see it, but we see the development and the underdevelopment. Things changes. So we come back to in an experience I had uh, in my locality. There was time when
In your
people,
village.
yeah, yeah. There are times which I witnessed they eat monkeys, right? They eat monkeys. Then in my own presence, that when I was very young, and after I grew a little bigger, older, they said, no, you can't eat monkeys. They are like human beings. These are not good animals, right? So we all fall to that. We don't eat them anymore. They don't eat them. When I was young, I remember
Mr.
my
Gabo,
grandfather,
Mr.
my
Gabo,
great grandfather. Yeah,
Mr. Gabo, they stop you right there. Then they still eat monkey na salon.
I am coming, Dr. Mangota.
Okay.
I'm making it here, right?
Okay.
So during that time, monkeys were eating, and it reached to a point, but then I was young. It didn't take a long time. Then all of a sudden, monkeys are not eating. I remember my grandmother beating me when my grandfather's brother, who's also my grandmother, was cooking and gave me monkey. My grandmother was very angry about that. But when I was younger, I would eat them. Now, as I grew older, they said no, they don't eat them anymore. So then, after now, to a certain age, everybody starts to eat monkeys again. It's something going like this, it go from, I don't know, maybe from generation or maybe from decade, 2 3 decades, something come up, 2 3 decades, something come up, maybe 10 20 years. What was being practiced in 20 years ago is no more. So let's come back to what we talk about, the festivities. Sierra Leone, I can say, is the most religious tolerance I have seen, I've never come across in the world. And I can give you a synopsis about it. Like when you see Tijan Kaba's reign, Tijan was a Muslim, his wife was a Christian. Am I correct?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Yeah, I know saying I'm
Uh,
Muslim. I don't know much about his wife.
yeah, the wife was Christian, and then and Madabio came in also. The wife is I mean, he is a Muslim, Christian. The wife is a Muslim.
What about
Do you
Anesmo?
know that? I don't know about that. They are both Christians. Anyway, let me don't say I don't know. They are both Christians.
Yeah.
All right. So this is how our country is built on. And when you say Christmas holiday, Dr. Mangota, when I was in primary, secondary school in Sierra Leone, from Freetown, from McKinney, we all go down to the village for the Christmas.
Yeah, yeah. Would they go enjoy?
We
Yeah.
are all Muslims, and the Christians are very few. In fact, it was just one village in my area that was Christian. The rest of the other areas, you see one Christian or one the other two in the other villages. The rest are Muslim. But we raised the Christian religion, the Christmas. Everything was fine.
Yeah.
But again, there was peace. There
Mm-hmm.
was a little advancement, a little resentment over people. But now it's not the same. So we have to go with the season, the system, the
Yeah,
wind.
I got you.
Yeah, there are a lot of havocs now, a lot of people causing trouble. So there should be restriction, Dr. Mankota. If
Yeah.
there are if there are no problems, there will be no restrictions. But there are a lot of problems now. During our time, there are no problems. You
Mm-hmm.
know, we used to walk miles to go to school. We are safe. Now children just walk to the back of the corner. Is kidnapped. The child is kidnapped. They don't see. I went to the school to school. I used to walk 3 miles to go to school, 3 miles to come home. Nobody. In the night, we don't know night. We go from the other villages, spend up to 2 o'clock, we come back home. Now you can't do that. So those days are very good as compared to now. So you have to go with the trend if you want to save lives and as a government. That's what happened.
Mhm.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
No, you make a lot of sense on that because um I just did feel and say we are losing our cultures. That's the most important thing. And I did see some people like Conotry they try for tell you say All these religions, when it comes to the script, everything. We did talk about that actually during the comment time. We'll
Right.
delve more into religion because now a very very important topics. A while ago, I've been did make some episode where I think I created 6 episode about just religion every Sunday, where I talk about African religion. Episode 1, within African religion, within the concept of African religion, and how Africans actually been the practice with religion. If you want to know more, just go to the TPN um, YouTube channel or Facebook channel, and you go when at the YouTube you go to religion. The If you go to the religion, then you will able to see them what them calling them. I talk about what it mean. And episode 2, I think I do some comparison with this Abrahamic faith. Now I'm talking about the modern faith. We right now we all don't involved in and practice, and a lot of arguments, debate, and something like that. So I think the other one, the other episode I talk about, it's the same. The only thing when you look at the way that even Islam, okay, Islam is more refined than Christianity. Islam is more refined than Christianity because Islam focuses on monotheism. Specifically, this is the person that is worthy of worship, and there is nothing else to worship. Okay, African religion actually get that belief system there. The problem with African religion, where it collide with um, Islam, is that we believe say that we access to them. We believe say there is a higher being, we are the creator of everything. The problem we'll get will not be in belief say we'll go able to talk to that person there directly because he live in unapproachable light space. So you're not going able to talk to and directly. This is where you get what we call intermediaries. And the African religion then gets each nature gets an intermediary. For example, the people that win agriculture is the one the way the farmers them then gets an intermediary for agriculture. And the other people them like um, the educationists, then get all the herbalists, then get their own intermediaries with then they connect. So, and when you look at even Islam today, we get intermediary. Yes. Now we don't go and call and say there's a difference between worshiping an intermediary and talking to the higher God through an intermediary. I think this is the misunderstanding where the Greeks, because actually like, they go to Africa for go take some of them religion, yeah, then go, then can package them. There was a misunderstanding. Then feel say, well, especially the Arabs, then feel say when then they see people, then they go put small thing like cola, then they go put on a tree. They are worshiping the cola, the tree. No, they are not worshiping the tree. The tree is just an intermediate. It's just like when you get a phone right now. If I want to talk to you, Mr. Kabo, there must be an intermediary because I'm not going able to talk to you face to face, not so, especially where it is.
Right.
So I get for use a phone. The phone is the intermediary between me and you. It not necessarily means say because I talk to you through the phone, therefore now the phone actually they talk to. No, I did talk on the phone. That is the biggest misunderstanding where the Greeks and the Arabs them get about Africa, when that make them say, oh, you guys are actually idol worshippers. You should not. But look at that. Muhammad is an intermediary between the Muslims and God, not so? Because when you say La ilaha illallah, what's not the next? Complete, Mr. Kabu. La ilaha illallah.
Muhammad
Muhammadu
Rasulullah.
Rasulullah, not so? I believe that there is no deity worthy of worship, but God, what they call Allah, and Muhammad is
The
the
messenger.
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 So a messenger is an intermediary between
Correct.
the person who send the message and the person who they receive the message. So you see, that's the misunderstanding way they may get.
Yeah, Dr. Makota, if I should come in so I don't forget my thoughts. What you're actually saying here is amongst all the religions, African religion, though it exists as up to date, it exists, but it exists in shambles. In other words, it's scattered all over.
Yeah,
Dr. Mangota, you come from Agboka or Tonkolili. The way you do things, like farming or other things, you do what you want to do, is different from where I come from in Sanda,
yeah, yeah.
how they're going to do those things.
I agree.
So you see, it was not organized. If it's all over, so you don't know which is which. You go to Koya, they get a different way of doing it. You
Yeah,
go
but
to
Mr. Gabo,
the south, they get a different way of doing it.
let me just let
Yeah,
me let me just clarify that religion
correct.
was not supposed to be an organized religion. That was not the purpose of religion, because even now your belief system is supposed to be a personal thing between you and your God, even with the modern religion. Okay, so it's supposed to be a one-on-one relationship between you and your God. It's not supposed to be
Right.
kind of an organized religion. You have to be there. I have to be there. We have to think the same way. No, African religion was a community-based cultural thing. It was never an organized religion. So I just want to clarify that.
Yeah, but you get to have the same doing things. If you have to call it a religion, you have to go. You have to be in a one way. I understand what you're saying. Then you don't have to complain. Then that's what I'm saying. You see, in the Muslim religion, you understand how many prophets do we have in the world from then up to Prophet Muhammad? I mean,
About 600, about 200 and something
the,
thousand.
the prophets,
Yeah, prophets and messengers. Yeah,
really,
yeah.
and and the Islamic religion
And
respects all of them.
funnily, Mr. Gabo, funnily, in the Quran, it talks say every society or every community or every tribe or every nation has God sent a messenger to every nation. So you see, so
So why is the African messenger?
well, first of all, the problem with Africa, like what would they say, we're not organized. Like what you they try for explain exactly, we're not organized. So a messenger is somebody who just like, for example, if I can preach to you about God, so make you become aware. I'm a messenger. Okay, it doesn't. There's a difference between a messenger and a prophet. A prophet is in
Right.
a prophet is in a higher level of the message or
But I think you cannot be a prophet if you are not a messenger.
well, no,
But
you can't.
you can be a messenger without being a prophet.
Exactly. Yeah.
So I mean, so that's what I'm saying. So Dr. Mangola, this is a very difficult situation to
To
unravel
understand.
or to unearth or understand or reveal, because when you come to Africa in general, that's where the myth is. The problem is just like I say, Dr. Mankota. Okay, forget about the 16 tribes in Sierra Leone wherein we have different way of doing things, ceremonies, trust me, on beliefs, even medication, these herbal things, and
Yeah.
even funerals, even weddings. We have different ways of doing them. Even food we cook, sometimes we put different things. The clothes we dress on, sometimes it's have different styles. When a Mende dress different from when a northern dress, the women, so all these things, forget about that. And now take off the 54 countries in Africa. Now, just Sierra Leone alone, we have differences. And you come to Nigeria, which is about 240 ethnic groups. So, I mean, so the whole thing is it's not organized. And I believe that's why probably they decided to go into Christianity and Islamic religion. That's because of the disorganization. We don't have a set rule, a set. But you said you do comparative religious studies, as you mentioned in your university. You know better than I do. But I don't think a religion should be disorganized. It has to be organized in one way
No.
because God, what I understand is one, and He organized. So if we say we everybody can worship how he wants, I'm not. Yeah, to some extent, but it will not show me. I mean, it will
Mr.
not
Gabo,
come in a way.
Mr. Gabo,
Mhm. It's hard. Yeah.
Mr. Gabo, before Judaism come into being, Judaism
Right.
can remember about 4 to 5 thousand years ago, not so.
Correct.
You know that Hinduism is much, much more older than Judaism, right?
I will assume so. You
Yeah,
tell me. You the comparative
yeah, yeah.
religious one. Yeah.
Hinduism is much, much more older than Judaism. Much, much older
Right.
than that. Okay. Now, compare Judaism, compare Hinduism today. You know, there are other religions, where they call like astronomianism, people who actually look at the stars and predict and all those type of things. These are also what's in our religion in the first place. That's not the first thing you get from understand. What is religion? Forget about organized religion, just the definition of religion on itself. You get for understand what is religion. Okay. Then after you don't understand the religion, now we get what we call an organized religion. God they talk to you differently the way God they talk to me. Not so?
Right.
Okay. So if God they talk to you differently, why God not they talk to me the same way God they talk to you? Because that's not the nature of God. God has an individualistic approach to a relationship between him and in creator. The way God they communicate with me is different from the way God they communicate with the rest of the other people. Them. Organized religion is a good thing because now it puts we into a one basket. And that is also the problem, even though yes, it's good now because we know that this is the way we follow God. But that's not the way God actually meant us to do. We don't have to follow the way religion they follow. One thing, because God is a personal relationship between you and God. The way me they think for say, now so I they pray to God could be different the way you they think. Also, because you get a different needs, not so. The needs where you get, not to be, not don't be the same thing with me, your need. So when I would they go for go talk to God, if you tell God, say, God, give me money, me, I say, God, give me long life. Those are two different needs, not so. So
But Dr. Mankota, those are general needs which everybody expects. Like, it's one thing we gotta know. You understand, right? There are general needs
uh-huh.
which everybody needs. Either you need them or you don't need them. There's one general list of needs in life.
Yeah,
So yeah, it's one general need. What I mean, a list of all the needs you have, Dr. Mankota. You
yeah,
can tell me maybe the needs you have, you don't need them at a time. When I need them, I needed something else. But later I will need your needs. Or I put my needs, the priority I have is not your own priority.
uh-huh.
But at the end of the day, they are the same. That is the good one, the good needs, which they call a Muslim. And we know Muslim is not a religion, it's just a language saying that a true follower of God is a Muslim. Somebody who submits himself to God, to the will of God, to the will of one God. That person is, to the will of the Almighty God. That
Yeah,
person is a Muslim. And so we have various needs. That is correct. But we have priorities of those needs. That doesn't mean that we don't have the same needs. We have them.
uh,
All needs are the same, Dr.
Sagabo,
Mankota, but we have priorities.
I just bring up the
We
definition
have
of religion.
priorities.
The definition of religion because now the foundation that one day we probably we can a lot of people then can misunderstand. Now, what is religion?
Right.
Okay, it says here religion is a complex and a highly debated concept. Generally, the general way they talk about referring to a system of beliefs, values, and practices relating to what humanity considers sacred, spiritual, or divine. So,
That's what I just told you in
yeah,
my
but
own way.
listen,
That's
no,
what
no,
exactly I explained to you.
but listen,
Yeah,
what human considers sacred and spiritual and divine. There are
correct.
people who consider the same attribute here differently than you, not so.
I think it's based on priorities,
No, no, forget about the priorities. I'm
but
talking
then we get the same needs.
no,
It just depends which one
I'm
I
not,
want, which of my needs are first.
I'm not talking about needs. I'm talking about the definition. It says beliefs. What is beliefs?
Mhm. Well, it could be various beliefs.
Okay, now you can get certain beliefs. Beliefs is just I understand. accepting something that you never prove to be true. Not true. That's not the meaning of belief. Okay.
Okay.
Now, what about values? Okay. You see, now what is value? A value is a cultural understanding of who you are, what you do. It's called values. Okay. Practice is just that the verb, that is the actions where you they take for actually implement your beliefs and your values. And this is what then you talk, okay, some of them practices and then cultural things, then values, then you relate them to what you then call sacred. Something
All
where
right.
you something where you
Doctor,
believe saying a sacred thing, other person they believe and saying a sacred thing. Not so.
yeah, Dr. Mangota, okay, you define religion. And what are the components? Value, belief.
Okay, it's a beliefs, it's a system of beliefs, values,
Mhm.
and
Okay.
practice related to what human considers sacred, spiritual, or divine. Sacred, spiritual, or
Spiritual or
divine.
divine.
But
All
well,
right.
you can forget the predicate. The predicates are beliefs, values, and practices. Those are the predicates. Okay, now and that make I've been try for explain these three predicates. And when you tie them three predicates, then they to a sacred. Okay, you can go to Sierra Leone. I don't know which cultural society where you join. Me join the Poro society because now you're come out. You know, you get certain places where then they call sacred. It different from the kind of religion who get to this, so not so. But those people take them places then they sacred. So now that make some of religion now a very very complex and subjective meaning. Go ahead.
All right. Dr. Mankota, those places you call sacred,
Mhm.
under whose power do they respect them?
Them belief
Under whose
system.
power?
Them belief
What is
system.
the belief? What's the belief? Whom do they believe that is covering them under that secrecy, that sacred bush? Who is the ultimate power?
For them,
Yeah. Who is
whoever
the ultimate power?
whoever them believe say is higher and a guidance to them.
That's God, basically.
Well, to me and you, it's God, not so to me and you. But to them,
Right.
now a different thing. This is the problem with religion. I'm not talking about organized religion. I think because of them problems and them, now that make now we get what we call organized religion. But even within the organized religion, now we get differences. Because if we actually say this now, organized religion is supposed to be the same thing. The Christian, the Muslims, the Judaism, the Jews, Judaism, the Hindus, the Buddhists, and all other religions, them then supposed to follow the same path, not so. But even at that, the Christians then get different belief than the Muslims then get different belief than the Jews then get different belief than the Hindus get different belief than the Buddhist. So you see the problem here. This is the problem about religion. When you say organized religion, it's also subjective. Now, what me and you believe, like you're not Muslim. Now, the Muslim part you believe, that's not the organized religion. Then get an organized, subjective way of practice. But the Christians, they not believe in that. Are you saying they are not organized religion too? No, they are organized religion. Then just get a different way of practice and belief and values.
All right, Dr. Mankota. My problem here is I'm sure whatever somebody believes, there's an ultimate goal. There's some supernatural being or thing that that person believes in. And that supernatural thing or being, I believe, is the supreme God.
Yeah, but what happened? This is the problem. Do you believe that a human being could be the supreme God?
No,
We see the problem.
I don't
But
believe that.
but there are people who believe a human being is a supreme God, like the Christians, the Trinitarians. They believe say Jesus Christ is a God incarnate. It's God that came down as a human being. You know they believe that. You see the problem. You see exactly what I try to talk about.
There are so many questions that you can ask, and they will not be able to answer you. They just believe on it. They just believe in it.
but that's a belief.
That's it. You ask them, they don't. Because one thing, when you say Jesus Christ is he come in God's form,
Hmm.
and he died for their sins,
Hmm.
for our sins, and he rose, he went to heaven.
Hmm.
And but when you look at Jesus Christ, who came as God, as they say, his
Hmm.
words, from his words,
Hmm.
anything he said, I did it through my
The,
Father
the,
in heaven.
yeah.
So who is his father? So if he is God, why would he have a father?
Well,
Why would he have a God? If Jesus is God, why would he have a God? He said, "He's my father." The father is the God.
that
So
that's
why would he have a father?
that's
Uh
that's the
huh. Go
that's
ahead.
the rationale behind the other religions like the Muslims for saying no, this does not make sense. But when you
Does
talk,
it make sense?
well, I'm subjective too. So that's the point where they try for me. When we they do comparative religion, you have to be logical and neutral and try for see both sides and able
All
for
right.
get to reality. But here is the
Well,
thing.
let me ask you a question because you are arguing for the Christians. I know you are a Muslim.
No, no,
Now let
I'm
me
not
ask you.
arguing for the Christian.
No, I'm asking you questions which may maybe you will get off from this topic. Now, is Jesus a God?
You talk about me your opinion.
Right.
Me your opinion. There is no way a human being could be my God. I'm not saying other people than God because when I define God, there are certain attributes where at least their attribute them they're enough for change and then for absolute before I will worship that person them. And remember, I was also a Christian. I was also baptized. In fact, now that make I they call myself a Christmas. A Christmas is somebody who now both Christian who
Nah,
both Christian
that's
and
your terminology.
yeah.
Christmas is not an
So,
English word.
so
It's
what
a
are,
Sierra Leonean terminology. It's a Sierra Leonean terminology.
yeah,
Christian Muslim.
yeah. So what
Christmas.
what are the main attributes where define me on God? That God is supposed to be all the time powerful. That's now one characteristics, now one attribute. It's supposed to be all the time, not some of the time or less of the time. It's supposed to be all powerful. Number two, it's supposed to be all knowing. You know the past, you know the future, you know the present. Nothing not they hide from him because
All
now
right,
he know
stop there.
everything.
Dr. Mankota, stop there.
No, no,
Question.
no, no. Hold
No,
on.
I need a Christian. I need a Christian. No, I want to, before I forget, I need a Christian actually to would have come here because you're a Muslim, you're going to be biased. Now, you said your God supposed to be all knowing, every time, everywhere, everything. He knows everything.
All powerful.
Does Jesus know the hour?
Jesus did not know the hour.
You know
Okay,
the hour? You know the hour I'm talking about, right?
yes,
You
for
know the
that,
hour I'm talking about.
that explain now for the viewers then because sometimes they don't know.
Mhm.
In I think I think in Matthew or John, I think in John, yeah, I think in John, it say when they asked Jesus Christ waiting at the end time, the time when he get for come back, because he say when he die, he go up, he get for come down back, not so. So now
Uh-huh.
that how are they then they ask and say, when is the end of the world? That how are they?
Okay.
Now that make it say, no one knows, not
The hour.
no one knows, yeah, the hour, not the angels, not even the son that's himself. So only the Father.
So then, so even that question alone, that tell you say Jesus was not a God. That answer he gave
Yes, yes, but
because he referred to his father.
I they take the devil's advocates because this is how I was trained for make you take the devil's advocates for explain let the people that understand. Now, if you ask a Christian, some Christian then get a different interpretation of that. Then go tell you say it not necessarily
Hmm.
means say you don't know the hour, but at that time, um,
Uh,
you not get access to that because he was a human being. This is
mm,
the argument. I don't debate so many Christians them. We get
right.
religious groups them way every single day with the debate about religion. This is some of the
Okay.
most popular arguments. Say, yeah, Jesus Christ gets two natures according to them. He gets a divine nature and he gets a spiritual, I say a human nature. So then
Right.
what then they do? Then they switch Jesus Christ in nature on and off.
All
Then
right. I see. Let me see this. So what they are saying, the time Jesus Christ spent on earth, I don't know how many years, 34, how many years or whatever. the time he spent on earth,
Mhm.
he was not God.
No, no, he was
He was
God. He was
he
fully
was
God.
no, no, I'm coming. He was a human being. And then who was God? Who was operating?
No, no, no,
Because
no.
when you say the time he was on earth, he didn't know, and they switch him on and off. So when he switched to a human being, there was no God.
No, no,
When
no.
he switched to God, there was no Jesus. I mean, come on, logically, Dr. Mankota, you told me they
Uh,
switched Jesus Christ
let me
on and
take,
off. And
let me,
Jesus Christ, hold on, let me land. Jesus
okay,
Christ spent about 30 something years or so. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, whatever the years.
33.
So they switched him on the earth for so many years, and there was no God existing by then. And then after he left, he switched over to God and he became God. I mean, I don't know. I
Okay,
don't know.
okay, let me
Go
explain to
ahead.
you. Let me explain. Because
Right,
I'm I was a Christian, a Muslim, right? So I know
right,
both sides. So now that make I take the devil's advocate. When Jesus Christ was on earth, he was fully
right.
God, according to their own argument, he was fully God and fully man.
Two times, two things.
Two natures.
But he never answered about. He said, "My Father," and who's
Yeah.
God. He didn't say, "I'm the Father. I'm the Son."
Well, then they tell you, say, then get to
Hmm.
one. Uh um when you see the Father, when you see the Father, when you see me, you see the Father. This now it is in, I think, in John or Matthew. When you see one of the argument, that means say the Father and the Son are one.
No, Dr. Mankota, it will not be that way.
No, hold
Because
on. I'm
logically,
just
or even otherwise, no, let me just put this clear. Even otherwise, why do they use the two words, Father and Son? Why? Why did they just say Son or Father?
well.
If
Let me
that is the case, that
let,
means there is one who is supreme. Now, let's bring it culturally or natively or literally to our own culture. You have a father, you are the son. What does that tell you, basically?
it tells me that first of all, I'm dependent. I cannot
Yeah.
exist. I cannot exist without my Father.
I mean,
So
yeah,
my
correct.
existence is dependent.
I
But
don't.
I'm
Mhm.
just taking the devil's
I know, I
advocate
know. These are
to let
their
people
beliefs.
understand.
These are their beliefs. They have a different nature about how they argue about that. But this is why when they bring it to an argument in modern day argument, they will not see through. They don't go through. I've got a lot of arguments about this thing. They can't go through because
Okay.
they will not. They are playing with things that they cannot explain about. They themselves cannot explain that magic. They can't explain it, and
When
people want to know.
whenever I had a debate with a Christian, and when I say a Christian, I'm not talking about ordinary Christian. I'm talking about pastors and
I
reverends.
know, I
Whenever
know.
I have a debate, the last thing way then they come up with, then call the M word. You know what's in the M word?
No.
Mystery.
Oh, they use mystery. Yeah, I got you. Yeah, that is what I'm saying. They use mystery.
Yeah,
And
they
and
say
and
it's
and, and,
mystery.
and Dr. Mankota, let me tell you something. If you have to talk about Christian, actually, in the real sense, and a Muslim, the word Muslim means a believer of
Sub,
God, right?
submission, submission,
Submission to God,
a
right?
submitter
And
body. Yeah.
if the Christians, this is what I look. If they want to talk about Jesus Christ, I think they may not want to talk about it with a Muslim man because you know why? A Muslim is more Christian than a Christian himself.
Yeah.
Do you
Well,
know that?
okay.
Because if you don't believe in the teachings, the actual words of Jesus Christ and his works, if you don't believe it, you are not a Muslim. You are not a complete Muslim.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
know that?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Do
know.
you know that? Yeah.
It's in
And
the
and and
it's
and,
in the
and
Quran.
what are the teachings? And what are the teachings of Jesus Christ?
Monotheism.
Take for this, yeah. What are the teachings? And and you find out that in the Muslims respect Jesus Christ and they follow his teachings more than the Christians themselves.
I agree with you because one of the things
Right.
let me tell you because that make a very important episode there where I've been create put together and I mean what
The
them call.
Muslim is more Christian than Christian himself, Dr.
Now listen,
Mankota,
Mr.
for
Gabo, listen.
certain reasons.
The Muslim the Muslims revere Jesus Christ. The Christian actually cost Jesus Christ because you know what thing can change everything.
Uh,
Now Paul came in as an imposture. He changed the entire faith of the followers of Jesus Christ. By the way, you know that the followers of Jesus Christ were never actually Christians. They were Jews. They follow Judaism. Jesus Christ,
It could be.
well, the book of Acts. Now, the first time when this Christian come in, now kind of now Antioch, one of the cities of Turkey, that was I think in the late first century. Those people were actually pure Jewish followers of Judaism. Okay, because when Jesus Christ came, in fact, he made them very clear to his disciples and say, "I have not come to abolish the law, but to fulfill it." Okay, that's nine. When Paul came, he can't change. He say, "Oh well, the law no longer applies because number one, he want for create a religion of itself and associate that with the Jewish followers of Jesus Christ." So he changed so many things. Say, in fact, at one time, they want to arrest him. Where he been in Italy. Is it Italy? Yeah. Corinth. I think now one of the cities now Italy, Corinth. Now they write the book of Corinthians. Okay, now that make them call them Corinthians. So he been a try for bring in the non-Jewish people into the religion. So then tell and say, well, there is a covenant between the Jewish and God through Abraham, that is circumcision. And that covenant is supposed to be eternity. So it's not supposed to cut off. Paul comes and say, no, you know what? You don't need for circumcise because most of the non-Jewish, they're not circumcised, especially like the Western, the Western, a lot of West, they're not circumcised. You know that, right? So, yeah.
I was going to ask you that.
Yeah. Most of the white folks, they're not circumcised.
No, most of the Christians outside Africa, 95 of the Christians outside Africa,
yeah,
they're not.
They are not circumcised.
Right.
So
and they own the religion, the Western side of it.
Yeah.
So
that's exactly
and if you ask them a question, when was Jesus Christ circumcised? They don't know because they don't tell them in the churches that he was circumcised on the
Well,
eighth.
this is all
Because you can see a reverend, a preacher, he's not circumcised. So what is he talking about Jesus Christ? He said he followed Jesus Christ. The Muslim follow Jesus Christ more than you do. He's circumcised, a true Muslim.
Well, Paul says, the thing I've been trying to explain, Paul says, Jesus Christ became a cause. He became a cause for the Christians. You know why? He been a try for because Jesus Christ was hung, according to them, was hung on a pole, and in Deuteronomy, Deuteronomy say anybody where they hang on a pole is caused by God. This was now the Old Testament. So now when Jesus Christ was hung in a pole, so Paul coming
among the thieves.
Yeah,
that's a disgraceful death. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. So he said Jesus Christ became a cause for redeem the sins of humanity. So now from Paul, now the followers of Jesus Christ begin for get distracted.
So Jesus died?
Yeah, according to the Christians, yeah.
Did you believe that?
Well, according to I believe Jesus Christ died. But at this
really?
time, at this time, he must have died, right? You express him.
All right. Let me ask you a question. You know of Jonah?
Yeah.
The story of Jonah, when they sent him to Nineveh.
Yeah.
When God sent him to Nineveh, right?
Yeah.
He refused, and he was. It happened that he was in a ship, and there was a hurricane or heavy wind, and the people cast lots. They said somebody here, something like that, And Jonah claimed that he was the one, or they should let them throw him into the sea, and so the other people could save. But because he was running away from the message that God gave him to go and deliver in Nineveh. So what happened? They threw him away, and what happened? The ship, the whale swallowed him, the fish, right?
Yeah.
And he was there for 3 days, right?
Yeah. 3 days.
Was he dead? Was he dead?
Well, according to the Bible, he wasn't dead. He was
So,
still
so
alive.
why you think Jesus was dead for 3 days? Can you relate that story and tell me? Can you look at the similarities?
Yeah, well, that story has to do with one of the Gospels of Jesus Christ, where Ibn Tryphon predict in that one, according to the Bible.
Jesus was not even hanged. According to what we understand, he was replaced.
Well,
He was not hanged.
that's
He
not
was
we
not
call
the
that,
person.
that's we call
He
on
was
the
replaced.
that's we call on the replacement theory. But
He was replaced.
let me come to that story. Why that story is inserted into the New Testament, the Gospel. Jesus Christ was trying to predict. He said, as Jonah was in the belly of the fish for 3 days and
Right.
3 nights, so also the
Okay.
Son of Man will be in the belly of the earth for 3 days
For
and three
three
nights.
days and 3 nights.
And
So
the way that
that go ahead.
there is an argument where um, the the non-Christians then get say, okay, if this is the case, well, if you say as Jonah was in the belly of the whales for 3 days and 3 nights, well, Jonah did not die because he was actually breathing in the belly of the whales, according to the
Right.
story. So
And he was vomited and he was alive.
yeah, so the Muslims and other non-Christians and say, well, this prophecy is false simply because Jesus Christ actually, when I say Jesus Christ actually died and when I bury him in 3 days before the
He
risen up.
died on the cross. He died on the cross. Right.
Yeah. So you see the problems where I did talk about organized religion. There's always a disagreement. And I mean,
So, so if Jesus tell them, say, how Jonah did in the belly, now so the man of God go be at the ground.
yeah, for 3 days and 3 nights.
So what you will know of Jonah was alive. He was. I mean, he didn't die in the
Well,
belly.
well,
So
well,
why would you think Jesus Christ was dead?
well, I don't much worry about that prophecy, even though it's problematic, but it cuts off the argument of the Christians, some of the Christians where they go with that the crucifixion of Jesus Christ. I don't worry much about them. The problem where I get with when they transform Jesus Christ into a God, that's not the only problem where I get.
Right.
Most of
Right.
you see, when you look at the Abrahamic faith, the three Abrahamic faiths, Jews, Christianity, and Islam. Islam they in the middle. Islam actually gets some kind of an acceptance of some form of Christianity, and they also get
The original Bible. That is
the Injil,
yeah.
the
They
Injil.
believe in that. But
Yeah,
whatever comes on the New Testament, forget about it.
yeah, I understand that.
Right.
But what are the type of talk? Islam, Muslims, they accept some form of Christian religion for say yes, they are actually similar. Then they also accept some form of Judaism for say so. Then they're not the middle. Jews, Judaism, not ever accept Christianity at all, and Christianity in actually one for wear the shoes of Judaism. So there is some kind of this misunderstanding between the two, but Islam kind of in the middle. It all Christianity, it all Judaism.
Judaism.
Yeah. So, but the problem is the interpretation. The same way where the Greeks went to Africa and now they come to Conotry in message. Let me just read it here. Hold on. Let me let me see here. Okay. Okay, let's read Conotry in message. It says Um, good afternoon, family. Happy holidays to you all. Sierra Leone is neither sectarian nor religious, not religious based, nor ethnically based. Our problems are mostly economic, hence, the future is bright for our land. Um, that's Usai he talk about. He said, Doc, I disagree with the premises that religion was brought to Africa. The majority of the scriptures happen in Africa. The Islamic tradition believes Abraham, Moses, and Jesus are black. Yeah, I agree with you, Konotri. And that's the point where I've been trying to make. Actually, religion starts in Africa. But just like where me and Mr. Akabo been the try for talk, the religion we will be getting in Africa now community based. We'll not get some kind of an organized religion wherein everybody in Africa supposed for practice the same way. And when you look at the nature of God and the relationship between man and God, it doesn't actually meant to be. To be honest with you, it doesn't meant to be because the way me and me God they communicate is different from
Doesn't meant to be the same. Doesn't meant to be the same.
yeah, exactly. Because the way me and God they communicate is different from the way you and God they communicate. So when you try for say, okay, we have to practice the same way, then it's actually undermine the natural relationship between the individual man and God. But
Dr. Mankota, let me hold you there in that side, in the communication between man and God. I believe it's the same way. The only thing I don't believe is the priorities we have.
mhm, okay.
The priority, I think with God, He
Mhm.
communicate the same way He communicate to me, and the same way He communicate to you. The
Uh,
only thing is my priorities, what I have in my list of to do things that I like, I will ask God, might be different from yours.
do, do you do
That's
you
what I believe.
do you believe in dreams?
Dreams to some extent, but not everything about it.
No, I'm just talking about generally. Do you believe in
Yeah,
dreams?
uh,
Um,
uh,
there are there are
part
there
and
are
parcel of it.
there are religious arguments for say dreams are also part of a communication between you and a higher being like God. You believe in that?
Right. Yeah, I do. Part and parcel of it. That when a religious dream comes to you, you know. But when some other shady, foolish things come to you, you will know. So you'll be able to interpret. I mean, to tell whether this is spiritual or I mean, from the higher. I mean, you know that because there are people in this world who are also bad, like I
No,
mean,
no, no. I'm
satanic
talking
people
about
who
whether
will
you talk
come to
about
you and
bad.
do things. Yeah,
You talk about bad, but I'm talking about it's a communication between you and a higher being. It could be God, it could be the angels, it could be your ancestral, it could be anything. Not so.
that's true.
For example, let's say maybe you dream say you dey fly. Forget about the interpretation of flying. Okay, we know that that's probably a metaphor in terms of the dream, but it signify a communication that then they try to relate to you, maybe
That's
for
correct.
near
That's
future
correct.
or long future circumstance that probably want for happen to you. Not so.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Every
So
dream has a reason.
a communication, also communication message.
Mhm, mhm.
Those are some of the instances then where at the try for talk for say
But
God.
some don't come true, though. Some don't come true.
Yeah, I know because there are so many. It depends according to. You see,
Like,
I'm a, I'm a,
let me,
I'm conflicted with
yeah.
say,
Excuse me.
I'm
Excuse me. Just talk. I hear you. Excuse me. Just talk. I'll hear you.
okay.
Yeah. Go ahead.
I'm conflicted with the understanding of the science part of it in terms of the connection in the brain and some of those things and the religious aspect of it. I'm conflicted with that. I acknowledge that. But generally, let's say, according to we own understanding and religious understanding, dreams are messages that are being communicated to you, probably by your ancestors or by God or by some higher being. If this is the case, it actually tells you that communications, when it comes to communication between you and your God, those communications are because, like what Mr. Kabo said, we all have our own priorities. Okay. We all have our own priorities. So God they communicates to we through our priorities. And we, when you pray, prayer is a form of communication. This is very, very important when you want to know about religion. Prayer is a form of communication. You communicate to God. You ask God and thank God and ask for forgiveness and ask for favor. That's not the main purpose of prayer. It's a form of communication. So this is why the African concept of religion was actually correct. It doesn't have to be an organized religion because when you say an organized religion, now what thing they happen, you limit that communication there to a specific trajectory of the form of communication. You limit that. And that is where the problem, because to be honest with you, the Christians are never ever believe, in fact, Christians never believe say Muhammad is a prophet. So how you go force the Christians for make them practice the way Islam practice? Or some Islamic people, they not even believe this modern Christianity to them, where they don't transform Jesus Christ into a God. They never ever believe that. So um the African concept actually make more sense, a personal relationship between the individual and his creator. You understand, Mr. Agabo? You understand what I try for talk?
Yeah, I got you.
Now, coming back to Conotry in argument, Conotry, I agree with you, and this statement we put so it in one of the episode we actually extensively explain for say, hey, most of the Abrahamic characters, whether you talk about Abraham, you talk about Moses, you talk about Solomon, you talk about David, you talk about Jesus Christ, you talk about so many of them, Isaiah and all those type. Those people are actually then get blackness span them. And yes, then don't try for remove most of the scriptures we actually tie the Bible with black people, but there are still residues of some of those traces. For example, in terms of King Solomon, the songs of Solomon, there. Now, then you see the problem with the Greeks, because I know one for just take a single brush and paint everybody, but the Greeks specifically, because these are actually the one we come in and take this concept and come put them together and change them the way they want them. The Greeks, some of the things that they don't want where it relate to the black, then they interpret them. For example, Mr. Gabo,
Yes.
do you think Mortal Man for interpret a name? Like you name nine name Mr. Gabo, whether they call you that in Greek or they call you that in English or Timini or the same, they're not supposed to interpret your name for say servant of God. You know go answer because you don't know that. Not so. Your name is Kabo
Cargo.
or yeah, whatever, not so. So it doesn't matter the language. Certain verses na the Bible, instead of them call their names today, instead of them call their names today as they're supposed to be, they interpret the name for make them confuse you more. For example, Jesus Christ's name, Jesus Christ, what's in the Bible in Aramaic, where them they call Jesus Christ? No, in name na Yeshua, not so. Yeshua
Right.
is his name. So why they interpret them? Because the name Yeshua means God saves. So they interpret her into Greek, then your own way, how then they call her Greek, But you're not supposed to interpret names. So the same thing with the sons of Solomon.
But it does happen. It does happen though in Africa, even with our neighbors, the Nigerians. Their names all have meanings. Maybe in Sierra Leone, even in Sierra Leone, there are certain names that have meanings.
I
Not
understand.
all, but in Nigeria, majority of the names have meaning.
Yeah, but you're not supposed
Yeah.
to call somebody based on the meaning. You call them based on the name.
Right, but then that's what it meant. When he asked him, he can interpret it for you. I
Yeah,
cannot interpret cargo actually, my last name or my first name. I cannot interpret cargo.
yeah. So
That's about it.
these are some of the things. So yes, indeed, I agree with you. The scripture was actually in happened in Africa. The stories, well, not the scripture itself, the written scriptures. I'm talking about the stories happened in Africa by Africans. Okay,
But they
they
were interpreted and written by the Western world.
the Western world and reformat and changed by the Western society. Now that make us say
Right.
then take their information and they then can go reformat and then refine
The
it
way they the
in
way
the
they
own
want
way,
that suits
and then
them.
bring and
Yes.
come back to it. Now,
To colonize us in the
now,
way that will suit them to colonize
yeah, but
Africa.
Mr. Gabo, right now, like when they talk about religion, so there are people where they watch we right now where they vex Africans them.
Of
You know why?
course.
You know why?
Uh,
Our 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 mentality has been programmed for make with self-hate. If you
and not
come
to question religion.
Then, in fact, the moment you begin say no, 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 don't even touch that.
That's a
That's
taboo.
because this is something that they actually did for make they able for capture with mentality. Hey,
Right.
you don't need for go take chains and tie uh,
Taiwi.
tie with. All you need for now the mentality they change. When you change the
Of
mentality,
course, they feed the slaves through the breaking down of the chains, but our mentality is tied up. That's
yeah,
what
yeah,
it is. They use the
exactly.
mentality.
So
That's why they
if
replace with the chain.
you go to Africa today, you begin to go talk in any church today for say Jesus Christ was black. You know the argument where they come with.
Hmm.
If you prove to them from the Bible itself, like in Revelation, if you prove to them, then she say yes. Oh, actually, this means a black person. You know the next argument, then we'll tell you
Hmm.
say, well, color no matter. That's the
Well,
next argument. Well, if color no
yeah.
matter, why the West use color for describe Jesus Christ, for personify Jesus Christ as a white person? If color no matter,
And yeah, and besides also, if color no matter, do you then think that the white man will allow, if Jesus is white, is a white man, do you think he will allow black men to go to heaven when he's a white man?
no, no.
Do you think so? Do you think a black man, I mean, a white man knows that this home of God is white? Do you think he will allow black men to go there? Why do they
Um,
bring that Christian religion? Because why they will not they will not allow black men to go to heaven if Jesus is white.
Mr. Gabo, I tell you one thing. If the not for being don't change the character of Jesus Christ, no whites not for being follow Christianity. I'm telling you.
I know if they
Yeah.
leave it originally, yeah, they will not.
Then leave if then left her like the way he been there, no whites will follow Jesus.
And look at these two comparison now. Look at this now with Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Nobody knows him. Nobody see him. You ever see the picture of him?
No.
So you don't even know whether he's Arabic, or black, white, or whatever, or you don't even know.
Well,
So
well,
that makes some sense actually.
no,
When
no,
you
no.
look at those two things, you want to ask questions. Yeah,
Mr. Gabo, there is one saying where they take very, very important. Then say knowledge without sharing is useless. If
that's
you get
correct.
knowledge, you not share the knowledge, then that knowledge they is useless.
Right,
A knowledge will be only value if you share them, so other people will benefit from the knowledge. Okay.
right. Mhm.
Now, they no need for tell you about Muhammad being black. They no need for tell you. Now, if Ishmael, where now the first son of Abraham, if you all first of all, if you agree, say Abraham was a black person based on the genealogy, Abraham was a black person, then he married a woman, when an African woman in that matter, then call her, then say, oh, na a slave from Egypt or something like that. Well, I don't
Hagar.
know. I don't
They
know
had
if
Sarah and Hagar.
yeah, Hagar. Okay, if Hagar na African and Hagar was a black African, Abraham was a black African. If them born Pekin, Ishmael probably will be black, not so.
Of course, it's not
Okay.
probability. It's gonna be
Now,
black.
if Ishmael born,
Though it's very rare for the black man, though it happens because black men DNA is very strong, and it is only in black men DNA you can find a black man and a black woman give birth to a white woman, a white person.
well, I'm not talking about the
But
color.
but yeah,
I'm, not,
no,
I'm
it's
talking about
possible. But the white man cannot give white to white can never give a black.
yeah, that's yeah, because of yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not talking about even the color. I'm talking about the DNA, genetics.
right.
So
Mhm.
genetically, if Ishmael was born by black Africans, then Ishmael he born a Pekin called Kedar. Kedar now the one of the sons of Ishmael, in which the ancestry of Muhammad. So you see the storyline. So
Right.
they no need for
And
tell
they
you.
come from black people. Yeah, they
Yeah,
come
so
from black people.
genetically, he came from a black family. So you no need for answer.
So
The
is
Arabs
it
are not
the
going to answer.
reason? Is it the reason that it could be a reason why the Arab hide the face of Prophet Muhammad? Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam.
Well, that
So they say, you know what? Let us don't glorify these black people. Let us just hide him, and
well,
nobody will see his face.
then get a very good cover up. There was no camera.
They might say the truth, but the thing is, they don't put the picture. They might
Well,
be the truth,
the
and
cover up.
so they put it universal is better to cover up to cut down this argument.
Yeah,
Trust me, that might be the reason they shield him, and so nobody could see him.
yeah. When you look at the when you look at the history of that place, long time
Mhm.
ago, you
Right?
look at the Yemenis.
Yeah,
When
man.
you look at the young colors themselves, you they see black people. They are right there. Even though yes, they're
Right.
mixed
In
with
Yemen. In Yemen.
Western, even
Yeah.
though they're mixed with Western because of the colonialism and the empires way been they control them places and they inter sexual relationship or all them thing and but you can still
Right.
see them say these people are black. Even with uh Saudi Arabia, to be honest with you, a lot of Saudi Arabians are black people. Black people.
Yeah.
So then that's a very good cover up. If you not show color, if you not show face,
Yeah.
it doesn't
They
exist.
might know the truth. They might know the truth that Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, is a black man. But you know what? This is the truth. But so what we do, let's don't show the face. Let's don't
The,
show him out.
the West, the
And let's
West,
just believe in it.
the West and the Greek made a big mistake when they
Yeah. By
show
putting Jesus.
when
Showing
they show
Jesus.
the image. They make a very big mistake because
Right.
they not say the truth no matter how long it get for come out. No,
Black people will find out.
oh yeah,
Trust me, they will find out.
we'll find out. We'll find out. So
Right.
those people are
Because Dr. Mankota, the speculation is that when these white people, Christians, talk about Jesus Christ and heaven, all you see is white birds,
yeah,
white people. So
yeah.
I'm a black. I'm going to ask myself, will these people allow me to go there where they
No,
are all white
no,
as
no,
a black man?
no. You go there.
Man,
If you go there,
that's why they made the mistake.
if you go there for go be a slave.
Yeah, that's the mistake they make. They shouldn't have shown the Jesus Christ in no way or form or shape. Just like the Muslims don't show Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, in no form or shape.
Well, if you go to
Yeah,
Ethiopia, then get the oldest Bible right now. If you go to
right,
Ethiopia, then churches the image where they show about Jesus Christ now black person, the Ethiopians, and the Ethiopians are the oldest Christians them
right,
right now.
right.
But coming back to whether Jesus Christ actually was crucified, alle Christians them denominations their way they say they not believe say Jesus Christ was actually crucified, like the Ebionites. I want for make you go read about the Ebionites. The Ebionites believe say he was never crucified. In fact, they then get for excommunicate most that denomination and they then kill a lot of them. So let we go to connect we say he said the first place to openly practice the Abrahamic religion was in Africa. Timbuktu has the oldest Islamic university in the world. No one brought religion to Africa. Well, then bring religion, but then your own religion. We all know that say the religion within Africa today, what they practice, not to the same religion way they talk about. So that's not the thing we would try for argue for say the religion where them bring come not totally a foreign religion. We all know that. Right. And Konotri also say again, the first people to come up with the concept of writing came from Africa, as the Quran instructs us to do, is to read African history. Forget the original views of the Oriental view of history. Well, the problem where we get, Mr. Konotri, is who's how they read African history. And when they read African history, who actually wrote African history? Because what in the talk show, most of the history that we've been in at Timbuktu, when the French go there and the Arabs, then take all the documents and the one day where they're not able to carry with them, burn them. So we don't have a history. Most of the history
That, 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 that,
they
that, that- this
the
is yeah.
conqueror.
Yeah, Dr. Mankosa, one thing in fact, when you talk of history, you got to remember that the Western world takes over the world. Everybody's trying to be Western.
Yeah.
And whatever they introduce, whatever they do, everybody, even in our country, is what they are doing now. So they succeeded in doing that. Now, when you talk of history, I don't know for England or Europe, but in America, they don't teach no history in schools because it will reveal the truth.
Well, then they
They
teach
don't
his-
teach
then they,
history.
then they teach history, but the history what they teach now the one way supports the own narrative.
Their system, right? You
Mhm.
have to they have to verify that you don't teach history. We like in Africa, like Sierra Leone, slave trade, they begin from primary one till up to university. Here they don't teach about slavery. Do you understand?
But but
And
but
now one thing also they don't believe in the Western world, more so in America, where civilization started, which we believe is Egypt, and Egypt in Africa. You ask any American child, school going person, or even older people, you tell them where is Egypt, or you tell them that Egypt is Africa, they don't believe. They said no, because they get a feedback of Egypt. They know what Egypt was. Some people know. So they will deny that Egypt is not Africa. They don't even know where Egypt is in the
yeah,
world.
because
Yeah.
because
Because they don't want to praise Africa.
Mr. Gabo,
Yeah.
when you listen to TV stations in the West, you listen to history. Uh, you don't need the America for a very long time. When you dey listen to it, the History Channel, for example, the History Channel, would I then say that them build the pyramid? They're not saying probably people from outer space, probably not then come for can do this. The fact is, the fact is, there is no person from outer space. Now Africa man build them pyramids than they Africans and them.
Right.
But the no one for same Africans and them build so much complex infrastructure because that's actually defeats the purpose for say Africa na an inferior species. So that's not that make them
Exactly.
we then call say, oh, this type of people, it must be something from out of space. You know,
It is unbelievable.
and
It is unbelievable. In those days, the techniques were not there. They were crude techniques. We cannot do this.
mhm,
It's
mhm.
out of space. That's correct. Because just like I say, they don't even believe, and not even to believe, they don't know that Egypt is Africa. Only very few know that Egypt is Africa.
But even some Egyptians they way na a product of empire or colonialism. Most of them then, before now they don't accept say they na Africans them, but before they say not to Africans them.
Well, there you go.
Yeah. All right. Cannot say actually, doc, according to Christian's scholarship, all copies from Paul, Matthew, and Luke copied from Paul. Hence, you will see the chronology of Jesus became becoming God, especially with John. No, no. Um, okay, let me explain things here for the viewers. Them, okay, a very important.
Dr. Mangoda, can I say something quick?
Go.
Yeah, I think my time is up. I
That's
have a
fine.
few
That's fine.
things to be done,
No
and
problem.
now,
Thank you very much for
thank
coming.
you very much. I appreciate you. Thanks a lot. Thanks you, viewers, and all the best. Happy holidays.
Happy
Hope to
holidays.
see you next week too.
Okay.
Okay.
See you next week. All right. So Paul, now in the first person we actually writes about Jesus Christ. That's undeniable. Okay. Now I not I not think say um Matthew copy from Paul. I not think say John copy from Paul. I not think say Luke copy from Paul because Paul in your scriptures, when you read them, out of the 27 books, out of the 27 books of the New Testament, Paul allegedly wrote about 13 of them. Okay? 13 of them. So I think I think I'm I think I'm Mark. I don't know whether hold on, let me I don't want to forgive now wrong information. Um I just want to make sure say I get and correctly. Just give me 1 minute. Now I make sure say I get and correct them. Just one for make sure say okay, yeah, Mark. All right. Mark, in all copy from Paul. Mark copy from an invisible sources called Q. Go read about the gospel way then they call Q. This according to scholarship sources. Q now sources where is not visible, we don't know, but some of the gospel they actually reference Q. Okay. Um, Let me make sure I explain what is Q. The Q gospel. So one of our because me what they what them call I make sure say I give you the wrong. All right, it says the Q gospel more commonly referenced to as the Q source from the German word Quell, meaning source is a hypothetical written document that biblical scholars believe was used by the authors of the Gospel of Matthew and Luke. It is a foundational element of the widely accepted two source hypothesis, which aims to explain the literal relationship, the synoptic problem, and the synoptic gospel. That is Matthew, Mark, and Luke. So Paul gets right now the Christianity we get today is being introduced by Paul. A lot of people they don't know saying Paul and they follow because they know the church then can't see na the churches they know they teach them at all. But Paul, even though he not supports the theory today we will get about the Trinity, co-equal, co-eternal, and independence or separate persons, Paul but believes Paul believe in a binary concept. That is, a binary concept is a concept that them believe say, Paul been believe say, even though Jesus Christ is determined as a God, but he is a lesser God than the Father. So you see, a binary, not a unitary. A binary is you get the top person when at the boss, then you get the second one when the lower level person. But when the Christians came, I say the Christian, the Catholic, the Roman Empire, when the Roman Empire came in 325 AD, the whole a conference, what they call a conference, a council, what they call the Council of Nicaea. The council was held in Nicaea, okay, for make them discuss about the divinity of Jesus Christ. At that time, the Emperor Constantine being actually one for capture Christianity and incorporate that into Catholicism, because Catholicism was the universal national religion in Rome at the time. And all the practices and the myths and the perception and concept in Catholicism before Christianity, now in then take then transform to Christianity. So you see, so Q is the sources where Matthew, Luke, and Mark, I think the John gets a high Christological concept. The person who writes John, he can upgrade John, the Gospel of John. Now, in can upgrade Jesus Christ into a divine being. He upgrade them. If you read the three Gospels, most of the things that we then gospel saying then do about Jesus Christ, it not equates to a divine being like the Gospel of Luke or the Gospel of Mark. John, the Gospel of John is the one that is crystallized. The person we write and as somebody we highly educated, highly educated. Now that make a lot of people that then they argue in a scholarship circle for say the attribution of the Gospel of John to the disciple John is very problematic simply because there are 2 or 3 John in the Bible, John of Zebedee and other Johns them. So we don't know which one, but a lot of Christians then today then say, oh, now the disciple of John. And we'll not get any way for make we able to authenticate this because there is no original manuscript. The same thing with the book of Matthew. When you read the book of Matthew from the beginning, you will begin to understand, say, I don't think say the Matthew, the tax collector, when the disciple of Jesus Christ now in writes Matthew, because when it talk in the third party, when it talk about Matthew, Matthew, he. If I did write a book about myself, I know they call myself in the third party. Very logical, not so. And besides that, just read at the first chapter of Matthew. I think in Matthew 1:1. Okay, Matthew 1:1. Let me see here. Hold on. Because these are some of the things we I think Matthew 1 verse 1. Okay, let's go to Bible Gateway. Matthew 1:1 talks about the genealogy of Jesus Christ. Okay. I think there's is it Matthew or Mark? I think it's Mark. Hold on. One of the writers will say, I have heard a lot of stories about the event that is going on, and because of that, I also want to write my own story based on the eyewitness that I have talked to. If I think Luke or Matthew. Hold on, let me just see. It's Luke. When you read Luke 1, verse 1, what he say? He say, many have undertaken to draw up an account of the things that have been fulfilled among us, just as they were handed down to us by those who from the first were eyewitness and servants of the word. With this in mind, since I myself have carefully investigated everything from the beginning, I too decided to write an orderly account for you, most excellent Theophilus. Okay? So that you may know the certainty of the things you have been taught. This is Luke chapter 1. If Luke was an eyewitness, Luke was not an eyewitness. He talk and clearly say, you don't hear so many people and they talk about so many things where them pass handed down to us. When they say handed down, now oral history, now they try for talk so. Now oral history, they try for talk so. So if this then people are an eyewitness, why then they say they don't investigate? Now because what did the eyewitness tell them? No. So these are some of the things that we need for understand. Okay. cannot see again. Actually, the African religion believes that the Creator manifests itself in its creation. Hence, Africans we are in tune with the natural world. There are more black people in Christianity and Islam. All right, let me quickly try finish this. All right, Sub-Saharan African has more Muslims and Christians than any other region in the world. Black people are more spiritual than any race. Now that makes them the user against we, because we are so much spiritual. So your passion is your weakness. You read that saying, right? 124,000 prophets and Muhammad. Okay, yeah. I think 125, yeah. You're correct. Gentlemen, did you read Things Fall Apart in school? Yeah. In fact, literature, now Things Fall Apart, some of we been read. When we do literature, from 3, 4, 5, no, there are 124,000 prophets, and Muhammad is the final messenger. May peace and blessing be upon him. He is greatest man ever, who name is called around the four corners of the world with one message and error free. Christians then disagree with you, bro. Me that makes some people then say me not atheist. Because they argue on both sides, you know. They say we Muslims don't worship Muhammad, Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, but we copy some his attribute towards humanity. That is from Fode Mansari. And Peter Dauda say, and why do we have the different denomination within both Christians and Islam? Well, like I said, these religions are called organized religions, right? And when there are certain advantages and disadvantages when it comes to organized religion, you know. Within Christianity, you get a lot of denomination too. Within Islam also, the only differences between the sect, let me call them sect. The differences between the sects in Islam and the sect in Christianity is that Islam then get the Shia, then get the Ahmadis, then get the Sunnis. But these are mostly political differences. It's not religious differences. Yes, then get a little bit different practices, but then they believe in the same book, the Quran. So, but in Christianity, first of all, the funny thing about especially Africans, they don't understand the differences in Christianity when you talk about the Protestants, the Catholics, and the other religious sects, where they call 7 day, Latter-day Advents or something, the Baptists, the Jehovah's Witness. Now, the Protestants then say the Catholics are not Christians. But what they don't understand, the Protestants came from the Catholics because it was the predominant Christian sect was Catholic. In fact, the Catholics now they actually define which book supposed to be in the gospel. No. So if you say them people, then they will define the canon of your book where you believe in, you say not to Christians them, then you are ignorant. So sometimes when they read the Protestants, then they talk, say, oh, the Catholics are not Christians. I just they look and say now because of ignorance. Everything where you practice today, actually now a formation of Catholicism. Everything. Okay. The only thing the Protestants when they split from Catholicism, they reduced their own book to I think 67, 67. I think 67 or 63 books. The Catholic sect gets 73 books. So not only the difference in terms of theology, they're also different in terms of the book themselves. Which book we then agree say na canonical. So it's a big problem. It's a big mess, bro. All right, on to say, please let's get away from this topic. All right, I'll not tell you. Prophet Isa have never called himself God, but the change Bible cause misconception. Okay, this is from Fode Mansari, and Fode Mansari also said, "Doc, why you call yourself Christmas? Please take time." I know. Well, I'm just I like for entertain people then, right? All right. Fode Mansari say we believe that he will come and deliver final message for 40 days. Is it 40 days or 40 years? I don't know, but some of them here, let's wait first. Peter Dowda say this is the reason why religion is referred to as the opium of society. I agree with you. When I've been doing religious studies, comparative religion, that's exactly now in them they tell me. They say religion is the opium of the oppressed. That's what we teach have been tell we. Religion is the opium of the suppressed. For the Mansari say we as Muslims believing in Jesus, Isa, Isaiah, Ali, solitary, Salon, we follow his teachings and the spirit Allah gave to him. Peter Dowda say the first mention of the word Christian in the Bible was immediately after the Pentecost. Yeah, I think around 90 or 70 AD. Yeah. Fode Mansari say I love this topic. And finally, Peter Dowda say, did God really create human being or did human beings create God? Oh wow. This is another big topic we it take a long time for me we able to decompile. And if some of them topic here, then will make clear people then see you bad. Africans them, because white man no care. White man they are very, very open mind people them. So they not give a damn because they know exactly what they do. Now African man we then don't manipulate we. Will not get the mind for actually tackle very sensitive issue. And most of the issues then they get for do with we own humanity and we own sanity. So there is no way we will not be able to tackle some of them things and them. But there are certain books where I don't read way. In fact, let me tell you one thing. Okay. Well, in a scientific field, there was a scientist we bring up a theory about the existence of human being. It's called the assimilation theory. Please Google the assimilation theory for make you understand what in this mean. But I will able to summarize them for you, for help you. When you Google that for read, you will able to get a basic understanding. The assimilation theory presupposes that humans are actually in a bubble, like a video game created by highly advanced scientists, like a test, like video games, right? So in come up with this theory for say this world we will see so now something we now like we are actually trapped in a video game Just like when you they play video game, you see the characters, then believe, then they react to you, to the environment, and they do everything to the environment. So, but the only thing is, we are actually biologically created as a video game. This is a very interesting subject. So go read them. Then call them the assimilation theory. Okay. When you read them, probably you will begin think about. There are other books where I don't read where they talk about. Actually, now we create God in our own image and our understanding, not to God creates we. That's a different um understanding of certain people for saying. But uh, I don't argue about this with some atheists or some of the folks that way um they not believe in God. If now we create God, if the human beings are the people that create God, then before human beings, how the world was. Because we know say, according to even the scientific understanding about the universe, we are actually very recently that we exist. If we talk about billions of years where this universe don't exist, and we never exist, probably less than couple millions of years. So what happened before the human exists? If the human now then creates God, then before the humans, how the world was. Because one of the things we, when I've been in study comparative religion, we some of the discussions that we'll get, the arguments that we'll get is that it's very easy for make you knock down somebody when not atheist, somebody when not believe in God. Very easy. Some of them then they follow what we call the Big Bang theory. Well, I don't think say anybody disputes the Big Bang theory, because the Big Bang theory is also in the Quran, and it's also in the Bible. So there's no dispute there. Okay. But the Big Bang theory happened before the existence of humanity. So if you say God not exists before human being, but you believe in the Big Bang theory, so there's a conflict there. There's a contradiction right there. And for some of who we now inventors, there, some of who we now developers, them, every design has a designer. This is the very simple logic. This cap where I wear so, it not just fall down from the sky. Somebody designed it, not so. So the universe where they see so, somebody must have designed this universe. Okay. So the idea that human creates God, it's a fallacy. You know the whole water. But again, it's part of the knowledge sharing process. Okay. Maybe someday we'll be able for discuss about that, because no small knowledge not there. All right. So I just want to thank everybody, including Mr. Cabo, who can discuss a little bit about. We start with the festivity, but since the festivity is tied to specific religious ceremonies, them Christianity, so we deviate from the festivities to Christianity to Islam to. But that's also good, because at least Africans, we are actually lost in our own sense. We lost. And one of the things we are always they argue until we go back and go look waiting happen, we say we make mistake and try for correct that, we are going to be stuck. I had a conversation on the TPN forum, the WhatsApp forum, a couple days ago with one of the members there. We talk about colonialism, how it destroyed the mentality of Africans. Within colonialism, do we the colonial masters then come and erase we intelligent, they erase and totally. They implant a false sense of understanding of the world, where they benefit Africans, they benefit the continent itself. So we have to go back and try for excavate some of the secrets or the past and try to see, okay, before colonialism, how will people them they do? Now a very, very difficult thing because we not get traces, we not get history. Now that make history, the history we will get right now has to do with the colonial masters, then we actually write we own history. So they write in their own image, including religion. So we have a long way to go. But I believe in one thing. The first step to go back and get the truth from our ancestors get to do with what we call attitudinal change. We need for change with attitude. Not always accept waiting somebody they can't tell you, especially when you know say this person they get hidden agenda. Not always accept. Try by all possible means. Verify. I could be, I could have been in any state of mind, but I refuse. Even when it comes to politics, I refuse for make people then just they tell me and I accept. No, I verify, I confirm, then I accept. If it's not true, I deny and refuse for follow. This is the first step what we get for do as Africans. If somebody come inside your OC tell you say, hey, Mr. X, the sky is red. Oh, not say, I believe this person. Now go outside, look up and see the sky is red. Come inside and cancel and say, yes, what are you talking about? True. That's when you confident. You get confident. These are some of the things where we teach people the same. Do not always accept what people then they tell you without verifying them. Because verification makes you certain, you know. So I want to thank you all for this wonderful conversation today. I hope say una all like them. We'll continue for discuss next week by God's power. Bye.